Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Amaranthine Invitational, session number 11, if I am not very much mistaken, which happens quite often. This should be our last session. The year is 1775. That is not the song I wanted to play. I just want some good old background music. I don't want to be muted on a copyright strike. But indeed, 1st of January 1775, and the world is a modern, violent place. We can have a quick check of what is currently going on, the current wars. We've got the Nordic Reich, we've got the Germans versus the Poles, and in the east we've got something weird going on around here with Bronco and their Siberian friends against China and Korea. But what we are very much concerned with, if I turn the background music down just a little bit, is the score. Because the AI, they don't know they're playing for score. But it doesn't matter, we know they're playing for score, so let's double check it. And we can see Epiphany and Osterstrand leagues ahead of everyone else, and Epiphany pulling away from Osterstrand. So unless anything happens in the next 46 years, it's 1821 this campaign will finish. So the next 46 years, unless Epiphany take a bit of a beating, it's difficult to see any other winner. So if you are following along, say something so I can, turn the chat on and not have it look like it's just me spamming the channel like it usually does. And indeed, if there's anything, if you're watching along, you want me to look at a particular thing, of course we'll zoom in, look at it. Because we've got a lot to get through today. We've got 2 extra hours. This is 2 hours earlier than we'd usually start. But there's no time like the present to get going. So we are right in here. What is it? Who are the allies in this war again? Nordic Reich with Switzerland, with London against the PRD and Vikingar. As a war, certainly by now that the PRD will be stomping in, especially with a strong Switzerland. Somebody needs to do something about this. Oh yeah, Schwarzwald are in this as well. It was, if I remember correctly, it was somewhat of an even war, but Schwarzwald are going to get stomped because they're just a tiny sliver of green to the west of Nordic Reich. Whereas you've got the main concentration, nearly all of Central Europe now, in this one alliance. 100,000 Polish army there, Norwegians there along with them, and from Vikingar. Wait, did I see Lutzeland doing anything yet? Lutzeland... Oh no, Lutzeland... What have they done? The Lutzeland are picking their spot and going in on Vikingar. And this is something I can appreciate about Lutzeland, is that they'll just go for it. Everyone loves a trier, and by God do Lutzeland try hard. They've not been too successful, but if I'm... They did have colonies over here. Now sadly lost. Neroland, of course, in a lot of danger. This is... You see the green? That's all Neroland have left. Their colonies have all revolted. They are at war with Neroland. It's not looking great for them. Just while we're over in South America, let's have a quick look over there. Bronco, on the other hand. Well, actually, they're not doing too badly right now, despite how bad it looks. But I imagine Gioia and Sonier Sedai, their army should really outnumber them. Quantity ideas there for Bronco, but I know both of these guys have quantity. They have quantity and they have far better land. Look at the green, just scattered throughout China, Korea, Manchuria, and the sea of red that is Bronco. This province up here, an Experia tier 1. This is what we wanted Yunlin and Archon to take. I say we, me specifically. This is what I wanted them to take. But they didn't go for it. Experia tier separatists running wild. The Savage Men are up in Vikingar. And that is because Lutzeland have called them in. Well, that's not looking good for Vikingar. How much did Lutzeland want? Lutzeland just wanting reasonable gains coming back. Don't they have one decent... Yep, Stavanger, I remember. Stavanger now up at 35 development for a highland province in Norway that just produces fish. What a waste. What an actual waste. Ah, that is finally 6 minutes in. We've got someone in the chat, so I've got I forgot it wasn't even turned on. But there we go. And indeed, that is Lurtzland allied to Österströnd. Not after losing all their land. This is the rich heartland of Lurtzland. We look at development. Obviously, Stockholm is up there now. It didn't start that way. Improved 15 times. There we go. Östergötland, I'm fairly sure, 24 times. This is all stuff that's been improved. If they had any sense, they'd be improving Dalaskogen. However one would pronounce that. Because of its... Oh no, what is that? Stora Kopparberget? One of the most powerful provinces in the world. Lurtzland, they'll be happy to see them actually winning some naval battles for a change. So Schwarzwald, still in this war. And their capital still hasn't fallen. It must be falling in any second now, because that is their capital right there. Ensconced by Switzerland. With all land to the north captured by Nordisch Reich. They're barely winning this war as it stands. Oh, hello! That was quick. That was a quick one right there. Lurtzland, back in action. And Vikingar's help in this conflict gonna be all a bit nothing. Österströnd were just giving Vikingar subsidies there. Oh yeah, Everett Lux are in this war as well. We're not really seeing any occupations of Everett Lux, any occupations of Switzerland. The Everett Lux army up here in northern Germany, or rather being sent packing from northern Germany. I guess I remember now. It's somewhat of an even war in terms of raw numbers, but it was never going to be even given the prime defensive position and the synergy that would come from having this centralized position. If these were all controlled by human players, what you would do, you'd mass up your armies. You'd probably mass up your armies around here, wherever the forts are weakest. You'd probably try and take out Switzerland first, actually. That is Schwarzwald knocked out. I don't think they've lost anything. Unless they've just lost Koblenz. In which case, why? Unless that's the entire war over, because Everett Lux... Ah. No great losses there for the PRD. Is that a white piece, actually? Surely not. Surely they've not just... That's a white piece. That's impressive. How on earth have they done this? And how have Nordisch Reich done so badly as to have gotten a white piece out of that? In any case, the PRD, ostensibly protected by Österströnd, but they were protected by Österströnd when Nordisch Reich came in for them. See, Shane, you started by saying they, and I thought you were going to tell me what they actually took in the peace deal. And I was looking and ready. It's like, oh, what have I missed? What have I missed? And it's actually they're incompetent fascists. Which, believe it or not, I didn't miss that. So now that that war is over with, we can look over at Kizil Baronko and find how are they winning this war? Because it's an imperialist war, which means the Koreans need to take Samarkand, which is all the way down here. To be fair, they've got a 64k stack, marching straight for it. But you don't want to use the imperialism casus belli that involves taking your opponent's capital when it's thousands upon thousands of miles away. Although to be fair, Kizil Bronco, no forts at all. That army can just march up, taking attrition, but they can just march all the way to their capital and take it down. You can see that army just marching around while they still have a more than sufficient home force to take on Kazil Bronco's armies. Never mind Gioia hanging about as well. What rebels are those? Particulars. Nobody cares. In the meantime, is anybody else up to much? I notice Epiphany haven't got the Savage Men declared as an enemy anymore, as their rival. The Savage Men still do for Epiphany, but Epiphany don't for the Savage Men, preferring Switzerland perhaps. Which is very much what I'd like to see. I think it's not very feasible to expect Sonier Sedai to get their heads kicked in at this point in the game. I think it's very possible that Switzerland could. Although look at that laundry list of alliances now. What Epiphany needs to do? They need to declare war on Metz. Do they want Metz? They kind of want Metz. That's what they should do. Smash Metz, bring in all your allies, have a good old go. Bit of a rubbish ruler next up for Bosporios. In Bosporios Savage Man for the Savage Men. He might be a militarist. That's the dream. I dream of militarists. President Runbil for Lutzland. The Democratic Republic instilling its virtues in the... Oh, and that's the first time I've seen that. Oh, a kind of enlightened emperorship there. How are we doing over here? How are Neroland still alive? They're still alive? What's the extent of their empire? These are all just claims and cores. So they've got a few provinces. Neroland they're still just about still alive. Right, let's have a look down here. What's happened down here? Legendia have attacked. Ah, yes, is one of the... Yep, that's the capital there for Nunu. Okay, interesting. They're going in Angola. They're losing a lot of land. But they've got some decent forts up now. They did manage to lose a war in this area earlier on. Right, so that is Nunu knocked out of the war. So it's just Legendia versus Angola, and Legendia have more than enough troops down here to help with that. Oh no. Why have you done this? Gezira have declared war on Denial Valley. Tokmiria have not decided to help them. So now we're just seeing the last vestiges, however one would pronounce that, of Denial Valley being swept up into the new Egyptian superstate. Of course, it's a... I love, through all of this, it's like they don't want any more land. We've got a Regency Council, we can't declare war. But they still want Venice. Because of course you do. Who wouldn't want a little bit of Venice? So, less than a year until a Bosporios Savage Man ascends to the throne and we see if perhaps he's a militarist. One would expect. Oh, here we go. A 666 militarist for London, who unfortunately can't use it to do anything. No longer in a position to really declare their own wars. They could have a bash at Schwarzwald, perhaps. Ah, but they'll have that truce up, won't they? Yep. Big old truce. Well, not much of a truce for a white piece. But a truce nevertheless. Separatists in Tequila. These Geoist revolutionaries, they've been going for some time. Here we go, there's peace over here. I think that's a white piece all in all. which is rather pathetic when you think about it. The grand armies of East Asia can't even take on a backwoods tribal state. What are they just now? Administrative monarchy? They've evolved somewhat. Legendia are at peace. And have they taken a piece of Angola? They've taken their borders. That's almost a lovely straight border there. Not bad. The dream here, the actual dream here, is you can see all this wasteland, but you can see Legendia have that bit, they have this bit. If they continue to take over Angola, this wasteland gets filled in and it looks so much prettier. So much more pretty. Same with Gazira up here. Or Malta, in fact. Same with Patria over here. That's what I meant to look up. I wanted to look up how to actually give provinces to countries so we could have a very lovely, neat map at the end. But we'll leave that for another day. What is going on over here? Free Scotland on a rampage. On a continuing rampage, that is. Against Brazil. Purely against Brazil. This is Neraland's former colony. It's not looking good for them. Perhaps they'd have been better served staying with Neraland. I do like Legendia's 2 provinces just still staying there on the coast of Brazil. I'll certainly fill in these provinces, the 000 provinces that couldn't otherwise be filled in. All for the sake of a prettier map. Worthwhile, I think. It's calmed down after that first 4 years of fury. It wasn't quite a 4 years of fury, was it? Yet there are more wars going on now. Savage... Oh no. The Savage Men. Wanting a lovely Russian border. They're going in on Perm. The Bosphorus Savage Man is indeed a militarist. And he sees the huge amount of provinces he could otherwise be taking. And he's gone, you know what? This is what I want. I want Siberia. To be fair, he does want a fair chunk. And that brings in Kazil Bronco as well. And hopefully, look at how much neater the borders would be if they just took this as well. What provinces do Osterström desire? I expect, this is going to be a complete guess, I expect they want every single gold province in the world. And I expect they don't want much else. Because... oh no, Emperor Alexei is a new one and he's a militarist. So they want some Vikingar. Some of the gold provinces in the New World at least. But that's a bit more interesting. Vikingar with nobody to turn to now. The Osterström, we could see them at war once again. I mean, a war which they haven't been dragged into by the Savage Men. Did they want a chunk of Georgia? Oh, they do. That's not good news. For Kazil Bronco, once again. Oh, Denial Valley. They've truly been denied the valley now. That's the Nile going all the way up there. Do they get... They've got a tiny, tiny bit of the Nile. They can still technically be called the Denial Valley. Yeah, the Savage Men Osterström alliance has remained strong. You know, Osterström doesn't backstab its friends. Not ever. Only twice. What did Perm even have? They have a... My perception is that's a decent sized army, but in 1780, and you're facing down, you know, everything over here. There's just 150,000 troops in the Kazil Bronco capital. That's not a good army. Oh, speaking of filling in all the wastelands, imagine if we have to fill this wasteland in the Savage Men colours. We have to kill off Ninja Kurutsu. Of all the countries that I thought wouldn't be touching, I thought Ninja Kurutsu and the Savage Men would be safe. I thought that'd be safe. So what have we missed? We've missed 5 years in 20 minutes. PRD and Nordisch Reich fought to a standstill, actually. Nordisch Reich had the advantage, but they were cowards, and the PRD secured a white peace. Lutzeland took their opportunity to stamp on Vikingar. Legendia continued their African adventures. Neroland are probably dead, as are Brazil, as is everyone who is... Oh, hello! We're putting Lecce La Plata back on the map. Oh, hello! Lutzeland are actually going wild. They are taking out California. That is a full occupation of California, I'm pretty sure. The Patria are going in on Brazil, and California were involved in that. Who knows why? But it's the Lutzian War that I'm concerned with, most of all. Specifically an attack against California, Brazil, and La Plata. If Lutzeland end up as a colonial power after all this time, just hanging out in Alaska and Lutz in Colombia, I'm going to be quite annoyed. I'm not actually going to be annoyed. I have to register some displeasure. Because otherwise, you know... Oh, hello, what's going on here? Tequila against Kashan. Kashan and Kumis. Interesting. This could be a real handful for Tequila. Who are their allies? They've got Tok Maria in it. Clever, because that will split up their forces. This is a war that Tequila should win, but Kashan and Kumis are really powerful. And Tequila have split off enough of their troops that their armies are getting beaten back. This revolution still ongoing in Samud Ali Kaffa. They should just give in to it. What they should do, they should give in to it, cancel that alliance, and try and jump in on Tequila while they're weakened. Bengalistan going down to Gansu. So Gioia attacking Gansu. Oh. What on earth is all of this? Gioia making their move on the rest of China. If they somehow neaten up China in the middle of their ongoing revolution, I'll be quite impressed. No wonder they want to hold on to their monarchy as well with that 666 ruler who has been ruling for about 35 years. Yep, 35 years, bang on, since the age of 15. Impressive. The Tequila struggling. And without Tok Maria bailing them out, they'd probably be losing this war. Let's have a look at this territory as well. This terrain. All mountains. I hope there's forts on it. Not as many as I'd like. You don't want to give up these mountains and deserts for free. Build a fort right there. Easy to defend. Mountain fort. Very low supply limit. Where is it? Supply limit? A supply limit of 8. Wow. I suppose that's not taking into account technology advances. Because as you get more military tech, you get higher supply limit for you specifically. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Yeah, Baroda continue to ruin everything. If we were to import this into Victoria too, then obviously Baroda would become part of the Tequila sphere. And that would look a whole lot better. What's the war goal here? Is it going to be an imperialist war? Yep, so they need to take Kashan. You know what? Let's just do this. They need to take a level 9 mountain fort behind many other desert and mountain forts. I don't think they thought this one through. See, it's not all over. Like, once you are facing down the Golden Scourge, once you're facing a giant like Tequila, smart play can win you wars. And albeit, I don't think it's really smart play in this. Oh, look at that, they're just getting torn to shreds. And here comes Tok Maria, far too late, but Tok Maria will win this one. Oh, reinforcements getting just in time. But it's not enough into Tok Maria. Albeit, the rest of them's getting siege time. But Tok Maria have quantity ideas. They're only just getting quantity ideas. Interesting. But defensive, offensive. I reckon that Tok Maria have some of the best morale in the game. Just going off memory. We can double check that as well by coming up here. Patria, Nordisch Reich, Legendia, Tok Maria, they're up there. Could be better. Get a bit more prestige, get a bit more power projection, you get a bit more army tradition. Patria are actually stupidly good for morale. That's insane. I think Tequila will... I'm not sure if they'll end up winning this war, because they would, if they let it run, they would win through weight of numbers. But that war score is going to keep ticking down, because they're not going to get to Kashan. And they're probably not going to take enough territory to make the war score reverse itself. So I don't think they're going to win this war. I think we're going to see white peace here. Georgia continues to win this war while continuously collapsing. Kazil Bronco finally going on the offensive against various Central Asian nations, as they've lost a whole heap of land to the other side. Good gracious. For goodness sake. Bosporios, what is this? I feel like that was a war kind of targeted more at Kazil Bronco, just to take out all of this without calling in... Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Because it doesn't even matter if they were a co-belligerent, because the Savage Men are ridiculous. Why have they taken exploration ideas? Why now of all times have they taken exploration ideas? The rest of these ideas, they're all pretty good, honestly. And then they've taken exploration ideas. Why? What are everyone else's idea choices? I know Osterstrode have gone far off the rails, idea-wise. They've taken some terrible ideas. Epiphany. It's the end of the 18th century, and Epiphany have finally taken quantity ideas. They've realised they didn't have the largest army in the world, and they thought they should fix it. To which I say, fair enough. That war against Brazil ongoing and quite unsuccessful. Interesting. Oh no, oh god. This looked alright before, and look at this. Why? Like, this isn't me putting on. Why actually have you done this? Because if I'm not mistaken, San Francisco's the trade province. If you're going to take an individual province, take San Francisco. They've taken a bunch of bad provinces that aren't even connected. It's gotten rid of that wasteland. Oh, it's all terrible. Hopefully Free Scotland declare war on them and then just take over the whole rest of the Western North America. Alright, after that white peace, one has to expect that they're just going to go back in on the PRD. That truce is now up. PRD, they don't have any real good allies. Nothing that would stop Nordisch Reich bringing the full weight of everyone against them. Kila beginning to lose quite heavily. Gezira won by the Savage Men. Good. Hope to see the Savage Men coming in on Gezira soon enough. Take out all this area. All quiet on the European front. How are Legendia doing? Alliance with Malta, alliance with Free Scotland. That's... No armies at home, that's not a good look. Eric Lux of the Savage Men could easily take them just now. Well, I say Eric Lux with allies. Because as we all know, Eric Lux haven't grown at all in about, like, 2,000 years. Right, come on lads. Stop fighting, just give in to the revolution. Look at this. Samudali Cavalry have done nothing for so long because they've been beset by this revolution. And they can gradually claw and take back the land the revolutionaries take. But at a massive cost of manpower. Because I'll show you this as well. Let's keep this rolling. If we look at army losses, Tequila are up there by so far. It's actually ridiculous. And that's as a result of them fighting their revolution. That's not a result of all these wars. It was purely their own revolution that's caused all those losses. What are Malta up to? Not a whole lot. Allied with Patria, that's just going to have to be fine. A big 60,000 army down here, and another one coming. Nope, just sitting there. So that's why they're losing against Brazil then. If they're not even bothering to take their armies across. For goodness sake. Transport one of those armies across, crush the Brazilians, you win. Though one has to expect they're going to go in on Nunu after this. No real allies. Tug Maria, they're very much distracted. Tequila continuing to be pushed back, having to rebuild their armies. But I think... yeah, they're losing... If not for the blockades, they'd be losing this war even without the war goal taken into account. They are actively losing this war on the land. Like I said, Kashan and Kumis, don't sleep on them, because they're pretty good. Gioia looking a lot fuller, a lot more Chinese, as it were. Yunlin might just survive if they stay a tributary of Gioia. Right, what do Sun Yosadai actually want from this war? Unfortunately, it's not everything. They specifically want to kill Yunlin, which is quite amusing. Oh, would Gioia even give them some land back? Oh, Gioia, they're the best overlord. Is this a rare victory for Tequila? It is. But they're getting crushed in the follow-up. Or they would if those reinforcements actually came in. They've got 51k sitting on Tequila's mountain fort, ignoring their armies getting beaten just to the south in Moghastan. Hey, if that's what they want to do, if that's how they want to live their life, who am I to say otherwise? Tolka Maria with their army sitting quite far back now. Well, that is... oh, Tolka Maria have been knocked out. Tolka Maria have taken peace. The Tequila are just straight up losing now. Fantastic. Serbian separatists. Imagine having my Emperor Bosporus in his palace in Constantinople. I was miming a phone. I don't know why I'm miming a phone. It would be, especially the Savage Men, it would be a horse and rider who has ridden all the way from Siberia. My Emperor Bosporus. Siberia is revolting. And then 5 years later, when they actually managed to send an army up there, like, Parb has just gotten everything back already. Samudra will individually win all these battles, and they can start sieging it back, but there's no point. I'll end up repeating myself till the cows come home. So we'll just look away for now. Oh no. That's Patria specifically at war with Neraland. Right, what the... Surely they just want these bits of Neraland and they don't care about Argentinian Neraland. Free Scotland might kind of care about this. This is probably it for Neraland. Excuse me. California retains Neraland's flag, but they're no longer a colony. They're just a constitutional republic. See, this is why Osterströms just immediately stabbed PRD in the back again after protecting them. And now it's the PRD against the... Osterström have brought the entire Norse bloc in against them. An actual trash ally. Perfidious Osterström strikes again. Even now, with these odds, Lutzeland losing the whole navy. Because it's Lutzeland and that's what they do. They also showed what to take anything from the PRD. They do. Like, at a very basic level, at least it's not going to Nordischreich. Nordischreich should be absolutely just steaming in with everything they've got. Which is just that in Switzerland. But, that, you know, Osterström going for first, they're not going to get first. I don't know if you guys have seen any of the income charts. Right, is this peace? Annoyingly, this is a white piece. I really want Kumis to start pushing back, especially up here. But let me quickly show you the income charts. Oh god, if Lutzeland get all this land back. You know what? If Lutzeland get all this coast back, you know what? That'll be fine. I'll be fine with that. Oh, I think that's a job well done then. It's not going to happen, is it? Oh, it's the Lutz. It's Lutz that's declared the war. How has Lutz managed to get everyone in? You know what? I hold my hands up. Fair enough. President Alfred Ronau could be playing a blinder here. How is the truce over that quickly? Because didn't they just take all this land? Anyway, I spoke a little bit about income charts, so let me show you this. Remember when Osterström had the biggest income, and then all the trade started coming in? Yeah, nearly double Osterström's income for Epiphany. Patria have overtaken them as well. And we can look at income comparison for just how much. Tariffs, 108 gold. Trade 438. Epiphany making more from trade than anyone else's apart from Patria, like just by trade alone. Trade and tariffs together, they could stop collecting taxes completely and they would still have the highest income in the game. How have Vikingar like headed into Crimea? A valiant but doomed effort. This looks like Lutzeland are actually doing what they should be doing in this situation. In that they're just leaving Vikingar. That'll be the the secondary target, even though it's the primary target of the war. They want to knock out the PRD first. Take whatever land they can from the PRD. Then they'll just get all of Vikingar. Well, apart from Iceland. I imagine if they wanted Iceland, they could take it. Not with that, you know, 3,000 auxiliary force of cannons and cavalry and no infantry, though. Oh, in the meantime, Pyrenees are done. Pyrenees and New Pyrenees wiped off the map in an instant. There's a split second. Oh, that's an awful lot of that's an awful lot of rebels in Pyrenees. Oh no! Just dawning horror as the zoom goes in. That's technically a Norse country getting annexed there. Right, Nordish Reich are indeed in on PRD. They have brought with them New London, no, London, Old London, New London, and Switzerland. Yeah, Epiphany are absolutely just going to sit there doing nothing, and they're going to win. Well, you never know. Agatha Epiphanus, 61. Craven as well. Good a dice in. So we'll be looking to the 446 and the 6 in military of Louis Epiphanus to become a militarist and strike down Switzerland. The PRD are absolute goners. They might not even survive to the end of the campaign now. Bengalistani revolutionaries in the middle of a war for the New Pacific Order. There's Geoia who have attacked Luan Prabang, and that's brought in all of Indochina into a war. It's been a while since we checked on the Emperor of China. The mandateless Emperor of China, the New Pacific Order. Geoia! See if Geoia took the mandate back now, they'd have a decent chance of being decent with it. Because they don't border Son Yeo Sedai, they could beat up Chunan, they've got Yunlin as a tributary already, they do border Kazil Bronco, which is an issue. Anyway, what's going on over here? Everyone is dying and or dead. Schwarzwald getting beaten up once again. What terrain is that? Oh, it is grasslands. I thought that was mountains. How are Eric Lux doing so well in Swiss mountains? Because it's Swiss grasslands, because we've let Switzerland expand far too much. Switzerland should only be mountains. That they have any grass in them at all is a failure. Oh no, Toke. Toke. Why? Why haven't you killed them, actually? That's the question. Why have you left the Nile at the end of the valley still alive? Well, I suppose that's the Nile, but that's the Nile kind of mountains, and the valley's all up here. We can talk more about the geography of it later. Yeah, a decent chance of being decent. Something that I've realised from doing all these write-ups is that I'll have like a word of the day, and that will get sprinkled in like every other write-up. It's like, well, as soon as I remembered the word perfidious existed, that was immediately like all the countries I didn't like, they were all perfidious. I thought, no, that's going to be obvious, especially a long word that I wouldn't usually use, like perfidious. So I just applied it to Ossestrond, and now I've overused it. But I like to think it's stuck. Perfidious Ossestrond. Cutting into their former ally in the PRD. This is kind of a land grab, a race here between Germany and everyone else as to who can claim more Polish land. Eric Lux could be in some proper danger here as well. Because that whole block could be coming straight for them. Once Schwarzwald get knocked out, and they will get knocked out, and in fact Switzerland might even take some land this time. Although Duke Paul van Gulten is a diplomat, he is still occupying their capital. I zoom out. Is it just me, or do these borders look a whole lot neater than they have? Like, we give Kazil Bronco that, and that's almost a respectable border. I've just looked across, and it's like, ah, that's why, because Yunlin are dying. But that's good if Ninja Kurutsu take that. It's like the first and last time I'll ever say, oh, wouldn't Ninja Kurutsu getting something be good? Particulars down in Legendian Africa. Oh yes, Nearland. They're oh god, where are they? Uh-oh. I think they might actually be properly dead. Because Free Scotland have taken all of Argentine, all of La Plata. Patria are going to take what's left. I think this is the end of the road for Nearland. Where's their capital? They've not quite lost their capital yet, but as soon as it's occupied, that's going straight over to Patria. In the meantime, I like how Lützland declared this war against Vikingar, but it's Osterstrond taking all of Vikingar's land. PRD fighting back against a combined Swiss and Osterstrond army. Osterstrond, is that like... Yeah, they've got 7,000 infantry and 25 cannons in that army. If this war ends with Lützland taking this whole border and stopping Nordisch Reich taking Notek, a very successful war. Battles down here in the cut-off section of the PRD that you have to hope that the Savage Men want. Good. All this conflict is very good news for Legendia. It's probably good news for Epiphany as well. Though that said, we'll keep checking in on the scores. This war could be boosting up Osterstrond's score. It's not at all. The Epiphany are somewhat running away with it now. Sonyear Sedai gaining as much score as Epiphany are. Probably because of their wars, yeah. That's how they've been boosted up. What was I looking for? Lützland! Climbing back up. The Tequila beaten back by Kumis and Kashan. Georgia looking on far shakier ground, allied only now to Kazil Bronco. Tok Maria have dropped that alliance. Tok Maria allied only with Gezira and Tequila. Who's protecting Caboose? Nobody. Somebody kill Caboose. Come on now. No wars for Epiphany. Eric Lux coming back to defend their own land. If they could force Milan to fall, then they're a good way through getting it. That'd be good, but a huge chunk of the combined German armies coming in, and they'll relieve that siege most probably. Ah, there's Lützland getting some Norwegian land. Beautiful. How charming to see. Patria remain at war with Nederland. How are they getting so much war score without the capital? Because Nederland only have 4 provinces and 3 of them are occupied. That'd do it. Oh, big old battle with the Savage Men against the PRD up there. The PRD winning until the Savage reinforcements come in. And they make it in on time, and the PRD, they're kind of trapped up there. They don't have anywhere to run, really. Are they still running? Or did they just die? I think they just died. I think they're dead as heck. And if they're not dead as heck, they will be soon. So Milan did fall. So what this Eric Lux army should be doing is smash them at Milan. Or at least smash them at Mantua. See, the problem with Eric Lux is that they have this most excellent fortress system, as previously discussed. But all the land the forts are on is flat. It's all farmlands and grasslands. So if they took, for example... If they took a mountain fort, that is what they should be defending. As it is, they've just let Milan get sieged back, and now they're going to start losing these sieges. Where are they actually going? Schwarzwald, fully occupied. Well, not quite fully occupied. There's still... Oh, there's a little bit in here. I like how they continue to put out 3-star generals. It just absolutely doesn't matter anymore. Because you either have 3-star generals and a huge army, or you just have a huge army. Means the generals don't really matter so much. Right, excuse me for a second. What's the time? We are 55 minutes in. I'm going to have a quick drink. Excuse me one sec. Gioia, I think, have not just beaten the revolution. They've kept their 666 queen as well. Which is utterly preposterous. How are they doing it? Amaranth, allied with Gioia. I can't tell if they've lost more land yet or not. It is just a matter of time. The Mak allied with Bengalistan. That's a good pick up for Bengalistan. I think this is what's possibly quite deflating about this, especially as the last session, is that we've seen with Tequila, they couldn't kill off these two, even with all of this at their disposal. So obviously in a multiplayer game with humans, you could have Damak, Tokmari and Samud Ali Kaffa drop their treaties, and then Bengalistan, Bengalistan and Gioia on one side, Kashan and Kumiz on the other. They would utterly destroy Tequila. The same could happen to Epiphany. It wouldn't even take that much to do it to Epiphany. Because Patria are the big one. Eric Lux and Free Scotland, as rich as they are, as good a quality troops as they might have, they just don't have sufficient quantity to really help out. Although that said, once Epiphany have full quantity ideas, they will have, by far, the largest army in the world. Or rather, the potential for it. And in time, they'll get the largest army in the world. So that is peace for PRD with Lutzland. Did they take a little bit of this? Is that what's happened here? Yeah, Schleswig and Holstein. Yeah, there's been no issues with Schleswig and Holstein, you know, throughout not early modern history, throughout modern history. That means that Osterstrand, Right, they're just going out of their way to make utter trash borders. That is party development, though, to be fair. To be fair. What is this? The Savage Men are going even further in their pursuit of rubbish borders. Hopefully Nordischreich don't take it. Oh no. Oh no. Peace for Eric Lux. And indeed everyone. The Nordischreich taking another chunk. At least it's a well-rounded chunk. They are now on the very gates of Warsaw for their next war. They're taking Krakow, Sandomir. These are all at least good provinces, or at least with the potential to be good. It's grassland. The livestock now worth quite a bit. And now we're left up here with Vikingar versus Lutzland, as well as Österstrand. The Wismar as well. Wismar, but not Lübeck. And not Stettin. The actual, good trade provinces. I'm not sure what I'm hoping for from here. I think Österstrand getting Jämtland probably be neat, and then Lutzland getting the rest. But that's not the way it's going to work, is it? Maybe Lutzland will just have to console themselves with taking the Shetland Isles and Iceland. At this point, I don't think anybody's really cutting each other off, especially on a coastline. Especially when you consider Lutz, for as many ships as they have lost, they do have galley combat ability. They have morale of navies. They've got some actual trash ideas. Looking at it just now, actually. You know what? I'd be content with these borders. Sign that peace, lads. Come on. 99% war score. Gonna happen. Lutzland getting Dithmarschen back as well. Ooh. Ooh. There's Free Scotland. What are we going to see when we look at America? Oof. Scottish Mexico, the freest of Scotlands, and Scottish Columbia all are rising up looking for their independence. That's against Epiphany, against Free Scotland, against Legendia. That's excellent news for Legendia. Because so long as Legendia are in the same war as Epiphany, despite not being allies, that means that Eric Lux won't be able to bring in Epiphany against them. Although bad news for Legendia, if the Savage Men come calling, then Free Scotland are kind of busy right now. Oh. What is that? Is that it? Just complete war over in an instant. Or is that Free Scotland knocked out? I think that's just Free Scotland knocked out. The Scottish Columbia. Oh. It's not looking good for their bid for independence. But here's the thing, you can't really take land for them. What is this? There's just one Native American tribe ensconced by New London. So incidentally, if this revolt had succeeded, we would now be seeing the United States of America there, we'd be seeing Mexico there and Colombia there. That is how the United States gets formed in this game. Where to next for the Savage Men? It could still be anywhere, couldn't it? I'm seeing a 29k army right on Georgia's border. A few others around. What is that? Agdesh separatists still. We don't get any of the good separatists anymore, do we? Like Garavdesh. Garavdesh cause is still there. Infinite Citadel Corps is still there. There are good cores available. See what I mean about this? See what I mean? I hit E there as if I was playing Stellaris. Zoom back out to here. Because they still... This has been probably like literal centuries. They haven't been able to clear off these peasants. And because of that, they can't end their revolution. Until they take out these peasants, the revolution will continue. Oh, what is that? 60,000 strong Damakian revolutionaries. Good to see. Because, what is this? Oh no, they're not Amaranth separatists. We'll leave it. They're not Amaranth separatists or Australian minor separatists. We don't really care. Oh, I remember why they're there. Because that was the last war that Australia Minor fought. They're allied with Champa. Champa have taken a province from the MPO as well. And Gioia snaking right in as well. Interesting. What are these guys actually waiting for? Because they're at 99% war score. I suppose you do have a big stack on the Faroe Islands and the Shetland Isles. Maybe they are going for the complete wipeout in the amphibious invasion of Reykjavik. Pacifican revolutionaries. Lovely. Oh, they're trying again. Oh no, they've done something quite a bit smarter. They've gone for Arkansas, which brings Tequila in against Arkansas and Kashan, not Kumis. The Tequila finally found a war they can win. So what's going on over here? Holland, Utrecht, Frisia, Schwarzwald in utter pieces. To be expected at this point. There is a landing on Iceland. There are no forts to be seen. Oh no. Going down Reykjavik next. Could this be the last battle? Led by Gandalf, the last stand of Reykjavik, of Vikingar, marching to their fate. Not quite the last stand. But Reykjavik will fall, and I imagine that Lutschland will be trying to take it all. Unlike for most countries, Iceland would be useful for Lutschland. They haven't taken it. They have taken most of this. They've taken Dithmarschen. Lutschland back on the map. Not quite enough to be all the way up here yet. They're all quiet right now. Apart from Tequila going on Arkansas. Arkansas could well be goners. The Talk Maria brought in as well. Completely unnecessarily. Let's have a quick check of what's going on in the world. And when I say what's going on, I purely mean war. Patria. Let's have a look at Patria, because they could be finishing off Ouagadougou here. And look at that, actual neat borders, both sides of the Atlantic. Ignore Legendia. Although Brazil, as we saw, also going in on La Plata. The nearest to die. I'll say this for Sunyer Sedai. I don't mind it so much now that they've got some nice clean borders. Ninja Kurutsu back to being back to square one. Tributary of Sunyer Sedai, but this time they don't have that rubbish province in Japan ruining things. What they need to do is take out Kalima. Make everything neat. Tidy. Oh dear. The Savage Men are just running through their rulers at the moment, but fortunately Palemon, another militarist. He is rubbish though. A Gaff, unfortunately holding in there. Holding on there. Don't know what she's holding in. Eric Lux remain allied with the PRD. What is even at the zip point? But here's the thing as well. This will have all been prosperous land. Because nobody's really gone to war for any of this land. And now look at it. Well, I suppose this is Nearland over here. Just constant occupations. But Korea, Scotland and Scottish Mexico, you can still see the few areas that haven't been occupied yet. But this will really be setting back Free Scotland, even once they get their colonies under control. It will be setting back Epiphany to some extent as well. Because what devastation affects, if I can ever, like, maybe if we go to the map mode and it'll show us. It might say on here and I'm just looking right past it. But essentially, oh there we go. It's goods produced. Like, minus 3.3% goods produced among many other things. I think that piece just there, yep. So that is minus 3.3% trade goods from these provinces, from all these provinces. And as we know, that's all being funneled towards the English Channel, which is where we have a quick look at this. Epiphany don't actually have that much of it. In fact, they don't even have the largest share. Oh, in fact, because they're funneling it all towards Genoa, where they do have the largest share, and they'll just be collecting masses upon masses of money there. So anything that devastates America is ultimately bad for Epiphany. We have a... Oh, hello! Gezira going down to the Savage Men. What? Did Malta declare their war first? Because Malta have gone in on Gezira. That's ambitious. It's certainly ambitious. Malta alone on Gezira. If they could call in Legendia or Patria, that's obviously a war they'd win. But there's just a 40k stack of Moltons just roaming around. Yeah, there's barely any forts. But it's a land grab between the Savage Men and Malta. And who would have thought we'd be saying that? I was going to say 500 years ago, that wouldn't be right. 300 years ago. If Gezira have any sense, they would, and that's exactly what they are doing. They don't have a hope in hell of taking on the Savage Men. They're going straight up for Malta. Now, unfortunately for them, Malta's... Let's have a look at Malta itself. 42 development in Malta. Do they even have a fort on it? They don't even have a fort on their capital. But because it's overseas, it's going to be very difficult for anyone to take it. Which means you'll have a look at all this. Barely in development around here. Them taking all this doesn't really count for much. And once this one fort falls, and that's their capital as well, that's Gezira, that's the one fort. And their capital is down. They just need to blanket siege this and they'll start winning. Patria rebuilding an army, they're still at war with Wagadu. Near complete occupation. And hopefully they take... Can they take all of this? It should at least be close. They should be able to take all of that if they want it. Why don't they want it? For goodness sake. Right. Oh, they have actually lost quite a few provinces as well. But the opportunity is there for Malta to just spread out. In fact, Malta, is that... I think Malta have a bigger army than Gezira. Which is a shock to me. Oh, no they don't. There's the Geziran army. Going straight for Constantinople. They have twice as big an army as Malta. Or rather, they did have twice as big an army as Malta. Yeah, this army is dead. They can't actually escape, I think. That is half, well, more than half the Geziran army gone. The other half is occupying Maltese Africa. Oh no. The borders looked alright, and then Sonyeosa died. Oh no. The Sonyeosa die on one side. Gioia from the south and the Savage Men from the west. Gezira weren't doing well for tech last we checked, which was like 50 years ago. The Tech 26 on this side, and Tech 30 for Malta, 30 for the Savage Men. Oh, Tolk, how has this happened? How are you losing to Arkansas? The Savage Men ostensibly fighting 2 wars, but not only can they easily do that, they're probably not going to be doing that much fighting. It's going to be Sonyeosa Dai going in from the east. That will just be going occupation, occupation, occupation. And they don't actually have that far to reach now, the Savage Men, to reach Samarkand. Desperately rebuilding an army down here, but Malta still losing it a bit from occupations. But they have the capital. That ticking war score will be going up in Malta's favour. They just need to keep the bulk of their forces around the capital to protect it. The Savage Men will be... Oh, the Savage... Georgia involved in this? So they were allied to Gazil Bronco. That is actually quite... It will look quite impressive when we zoom out here. The Savage Men somehow at war with Fujian as well. Truly global trade. Sola says, oh no, I missed the first hour. Let's have a quick update on... Oh, what? Oh no. What timing? That is phenomenal timing. Whoop-de-doo, let's just have a quick... Oh no, Everett Locks are doing something for the first time ever. Summoned by Solar's presence. Right, let's have a get-together on this war. So Everett Lux going in on Legendia. Legendia's troops are not around. That has broken up Epiphany and Free Scotland though. Free Scotland came in on the side of Legendia. Everett Lux brought Epiphany with them. So we are back just to the Triple Alliance now for Epiphany. The new Entente is dead. And I don't want to see... Oh, no. We're going to have to look at the diplomatic view for the Americas now. Oof. Actually, Free Scotland still kind of hold the advantage. The implosion of the Catholic world, as it were. And don't get me wrong, this is not going to affect Epiphany at all. Especially while the Savage Men are off on various adventures. Oh, they've already gotten all the way to Cairo. That was quick. That was properly quick. So now Malta just have to fight. Oh no, Malta are defending against Eric Lux. Of course they are. No, not this way. If Solars has just killed Malta, then... Oh no. How much of Italy do they want? They don't want that much. Oh, big old battle down here. I like how there's a world war going on, but what are we interested in? Malta versus Gezira. But to be fair, the Legendan army, I don't know where it is, but it's not in Legendia. They were just helping Free Scotland and Epiphany fight in the colonies. And they may still be doing that. God, imagine! Oh, we could be seeing a grand scale colonial revolt here. Because limited desire for colonies depends on how strong your allies are as well. And Free Scotland just lost Epiphany, the strongest ally they could have. We're going to be seeing a grand colonial revolt here. Talk, Maria. How are they losing? How are they losing to Arkansas? Right, at the very... If we could have, like, asymmetric peace terms, where Legendia just got all of this down here for Patria, in exchange for losing, like, that in their homeland, like, you could get in a real peace treaty, then, you know... Right, Tequila... Not looking great for Arkansas. They've got that one province left. At least it's not on Tequila's border anymore, though. But oh, that's ugly. If they take Masira, they take Baroda. Yeah, Epiphany giveth and Epiphany taketh away. What's that northwest of Kashan? Oh, it's the other Arkansas province. That's been there for quite some time. So the Savage Men are continuing their war with Kizil Bronco and Georgia. But they'll be, like, Cairo. Let's have a quick look at Cairo. 41 development. And these, they're not that, well, they are actually quite high in development now. But it's great land because it's the granary of the Mediterranean, which gives plus goods produced despite it being just grain. That's still a great bonus to have. So they'll be swallowing quite a lot of overextension, which means they might not be able to take as much from Georgia and as much from Kizil Bronco. But equally, the Savage Men have amazing absolutism. If Malta could somehow win this war against Gezira, I say somehow, they are winning. But if they could somehow get, you know, a huge swathe of land to protect themselves against the Triple Alliance. It's all coming around full circle, isn't it? We started with the Triple Alliance. We're going to finish... Oh, look at this, actually. Legendia are demolishing Patria in Brazil. You've got some armies over here. You do have a Legendian army over here. But you have Free Scotland's... No, not... You have Free Scotland's colonies running wild. Patria, why? I really hope Patria clean that up before the end of the campaign. So the war is against Ardendia, Free Scotland, Malta. Those are the ones they have to knock out. You've got the ships. You've got the army. You've got a 40-odd development province without a fort. And you land at the 50k. That your allies already sieged. Come on now, lads. Come on. The one problem with the land that Malta has taken from Gezira is that it's not contiguously connected to their own land. What they need to do, they need to take Alexandria. They take Alexandria, they can take whatever they want. Come on, Nile Valley Separatists. Yes! Right, what needs to happen now, actually? Screw Malta. Malta just needs to stay down here. Letting the Nile Valley Separatists run wild. There are Koreans in Aleppo. There's not a drill. There are Koreans in Aleppo and Antioch. It's all got a bit weird, honestly. Are Rossestron doing anything interesting right now? Taking advantage of the schisms, the schisms. I would say schisms, but I don't know if that's how you actually pronounce it in the Catholic world. Unfortunately, you can't knock out Patria based on taking out Patria in Brazil. You can't knock out Patria in Brazil separately. So if we have a look at Patria in Brazil, we can see they're at minus 81% war score. More than enough to have them knocked out if you could knock them out individually. But Patria itself, they'll be suffering from the occupations. But only minus 3% war score, and they're taking all of this. Oh, why do we have more Gezeran separatists than Nile Valley separatists? That's a disappointment, to say the very least. Right, Malta have lost the capital of Gezira, which means this war is going to turn around. It's going to turn around quite quickly. We've got a Legendian army down there as well. Perhaps marching all the way through Africa. There's the Maltan army. Oh, because Malta are... Well, I don't know what they're doing, but they're fighting in the bigger war and they decided to go down here. If we're Malta, that's who we're fighting against. I think they've given up all hope of getting anything good out of Gezira. I mean, if they had done that, you know what? Just get a white piece. You could probably get a white piece, it'd be fine. I think of myself as, you know, a reasonably well-educated person with a decent vocabulary. We'll ignore that that's the 20th time I've said decent tonight. But then I come to actually say words. There's Koreans assaulting the Georgians, by the way, in the Central Asian steppes. When it comes to actually pronouncing words, I'm just an actual moron. And it just proves to myself, you know what? You're nowhere near as clever as you think you are. Sidonian separatists, I don't know who they are. But I trust that the Savage Men will be across in very quick time. Eric Lux through West Africa. as you do. Tulk Maria have taken Danal Valley as a vassal. That's not great news. What is great news is that they're no longer allied of Gezira. They don't want their land, but I'd expect Danal Valley wants their land back. So that is now a war goal that Tulk Maria can take. In that they can declare war on Gezira on Danal Valley's behalf. Would they do that? Absolutely not. But we can dream. Kazil Bronco, again, how are they managing to make incursions into Korea? All they need to do is have someone take this capital, because it's minus 15% war score and it's minus 25 war score nearly now for not having taken it. Gio's got an army right there. Just march into Samarkand. Just march into... Oh, for goodness sake. Why? Right, Legendia. Very nearly fully occupied at home. Very nearly fully occupied in North Africa. Winning in South America. Winning in Brazil. Winning in North America. Yep. But not winning anywhere it matters. Unfortunately. War score is still only plus 32. I suppose they do need to go about taking Lothian. Which will be a big one. How are Free Scotland doing on the war score front then? A whole lot of colonial occupations, but it means nothing. Right, what I'm going to do is we've coasted right past the 1800 quick save, or rather save point. They'll give me just a second. What's the time? 8:30. We are actually going to need quite a lot of this time to get through the entire stream. So what I'm going to do is load the autosave, make a permanent save of the autosave, and then we'll load right back into this game. You guys probably know the drill by now. I've missed enough save points in my time. This is 1800. We're going to save game as a whole load of loading screens. And we're going to load up. Back to the Observer game of 1801. 20 years to go, exactly. So, are there any stats right now that people would like to see for ostensibly our 1800 catch-up? We will, of course, look at the scores. Will we? Yes, we will. And you can kind of see that Epiphany are just strolling away from it. With it. Who's above them in diplomacy? Free Scotland, somehow. Really, somehow. I don't quite understand how they're managing to beat them at this point. But Epiphany are running away with it just now. Is Ulsterstone second place under threat? Not really. Potentially, but not really. Probably not. What's the closest fight here? Nordisch Reich will probably overtake London. Sonja Sedai might make the top 10, unfortunately. Caboose. Everyone's overtaking Caboose. Quick update on income. Epiphany. See, look how far Epiphany have been hit. I think they've lost like a solid 100 off their trade income. Obviously, that doesn't mean very much. But hey, it's a start. Development-wise, the Savage Men have put on about 600 development because, of course, they have. Right, let us continue with the game. Who is last? Everyone will be last, pretty much. Tolk, you've missed 25 years, and this has only just happened in the past few. Everett Lux have finally made the move. Far too little, far too late. But this is the war we find ourselves in. The Catholic world split in twain, including in the colonies as well. Tolk, Marie and Tequila managed to lose a war to Kashan and Kumiz. Tequila would then go back and beat up Kashan individually. Tolk Maria beat up Denial Valley. They now have them as a vassal. The Savage Men did what the Savage Men have always done. They went into Siberia. They went into Cairo. The PRD got beaten up quite a bit. They managed to get a white peace out of their first war, actually. They did actually really well in the first war. And then Lurtzland engineered the Norse bloc to come in against them, and Lurtzland are back on the map. I know that Lurtzland have already lost this province down here. They've still got Lazio in Australia though. So we also have peace over here. Is that going to be another white peace because they couldn't take the capital? It's not. Some Aes Sedai just took nothing, and the Savage Men took everything. And you know what? At this point, I'll say fair dues. Now, this would be the point for the Savage Men to absolutely just turn around and hit Legendia. Is Everett Lux probably not going to take everything? What do the Savage Men want? They want nearly everything. Or they could turn around and hit Malta, which equates to the same thing for the Savage Men. Is anyone going to kill Caboose? You know what? Just this once. Just this once. I'd like to say, come on, Tequila. You can do it. Neroland is fully dead. Oh no, not fully dead. How have they managed to survive? I genuinely thought they were dead. Pyreneos is dead. They were over here. Neroland, still alive. Allied with Brazil. Brazil, who are a tributary of Brazil. So now righto ding dong battle throughout the Amazon. Latvian Peruvian separatists going to town in Argentina. Interesting, because Free Scotland won't be able to get an army over there to stop them. Ah yes, Tequila then declared war on Arkansas, brought in Kashan, and they killed Kashan as well. They still allied Kumiz though. That is all well and good. Right, we have peace. Oh no. So we have the Legendian Maghreb pushed back by Patria. We have Eric Lux making advances in Italy. Nearly said India. That would have been impressive. Have there been any changes over here? Not so much. But yeah, Eric Lux might have just utterly destroyed Free Scotland. Let's have a quick look. So you've got Free Scotland, you've got Scottish Mexico, and a couple others that are close. But Scottish Mexico and the Free Scotland, they're the ones you have to worry about. And say Scottish Mexico once that truce has elapsed in 1810. Well, if it's going to elapse in 1810, then they might be fine until the end of the game. But Free Scotland will only have Legendia and Macaronesium to defend against Colonial Revolt, and that won't be enough. Schwarzwald Revolutionaries on a mass scale. Now, it's probably just Aspiration for Liberty, but I wouldn't mind seeing, you know, a proper revolution in by the end. You know what? We've got the time, and I don't think it really matters if we interrupt Schwarzwald's. Hello? No. Surely not. Interesting. Tell me more. So Nordisreich have pushed their luck many a time. The last time they attacked the PRD, they were protected by Osterstrom. They have that guarantee of protection. What is Eric Lux doing in there? Well, Eric Lux has been allied to the PRD for quite a long time. And they've been drawn into every single one of these rubbish wars. But they've called Osterstrom's bluff one time too many. And now Nordisreich. Who would the Savage Men back? They'd probably back Nordisreich if they came into this war at all. But this is interesting. Right. We paused just to double check. It is Aspiration for Liberty and not Revolution. Right. Panic over. But interesting. While we're coming in and breaking AI routines, let's go to New London, because it doesn't matter if we break their AI routine for the sake of this war. So we can see the numbers. And that's an even war with Osterstrom holding the advantage. You know what? I'm gonna love it, right? You've got Patria, you've got Epiphany, and if Eric Lux somehow win this war and take land from Switzerland, you've got the Triple Alliance standing strong to the end of the game, and the Norse block in ruins. What Lurtzland gonna do? Because every time we've had a big war like this, Lurtzland have just come in. They're paying Free Scotland to free themselves as well, our Lurtzland right now. Let's them come in and do some weird ballsy move. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. As you can see, it's worked out quite well for them in context, in that they are not dead. But wow, this is an interesting one. Because the PRD, their problem is that they've had parity of numbers before, but the PRD, Schwarzwald, Vikingar and Eric Lux, their armies can be picked off individually by the huge solid block of Nordisreich and Switzerland. But they can now do the very same with Osterstrond, if Osterstrond have their guys come through and down. So where are the Osterstrond armies? We've got one completely isolated there, getting cut off by the German armies there. Again, Eric Lux will stay cut off unless now is the time, I feel. Nah, it probably isn't. But I would absolutely love Epiphany to come in and smash Switzerland right now. Eric Lux getting beaten back over there. There's a big old army there. Oh, goodness sake. Zoom in. Why won't it zoom in? Has the MPO been rolled yet? They actually have, but not to a massive extent. Alright, the Polish Alliance getting beaten back. Their capital's already fallen. Because Osterstrom, they're just not putting the troops in. But yeah, MPO getting beaten back by Bengalistan and Georgia, who are actually holding their alliance now. They're allied to Denmark in the south as well. Anyway, back over here. Right, reinforcements piling into Warsaw, beating back the Germans. Siege back Warsaw before you leave it, you fools. Right, they are at least doing that. Shouldn't take too long for that to drop, and they'll get that war score back. Lutzeland have hired out half their army to Ossestrund. I love Lutzeland. What are Lutzeland going to do next? Oh, goodness, what's going on up here? Scotland are wanting the Shetland Isles back, and they're jumping on the opportunity while everyone else is occupied. A huge rebuilding for Nordisch Reich. I think that's them marking up. Here's the thing though, manpower doesn't really matter, because you've all got infinite money. That means infinite mercenaries. It's just who can... Hello? Big old stamp down. They don't want to be reinforcing this because this is a massive defeat. Unless they can get these guys in as well. That's a big old battle then. But not in time. Wait, I swear Osterstrand were winning that battle and then they retreated. Is this where Osterstrand's utter trash ideas are going to come back to bite them? Because it's looking likely. Espionage, expansion, exploration, quad... They only have offensive as an idea that gives them any sort of troop quality. PRD only at Tech 30 as well. Not great. Eric Lux actually advancing into Switzerland. Of course, they'll have just picked up a whole load of development, 29, 28, and they'll have a far bigger share of Genoa, the biggest node now. So Eric Lux can actually put out a good fighting force again. Now, so long as the PRD can hold, make sure their capital doesn't fall. It's falling to Switzerland of all countries right now. If the PRD can hold, then that war score will mount up in their favour. They're losing their battles because Osterstrand are trash. But if they can keep the numbers up... Actually, what is it? Is it a nationalist war? It's an imperialist war. They do only need to take Warsaw to make that war score tick up. Imagine for a moment, what's he going to say next? I can't imagine it. The Legendian capital is in Messina. So at least it's quite a bit more defensible. And Legendia are going to work on Sakalava. Good. Keep expanding that African land down there. Patria finishing off Neroland and probably Brazil. Hey, I'm not gonna crow forever about this, but maybe you shouldn't be backstabbing all your allies if you don't want to be backstabbed in turn. It's just something to think about. The Savage Men could be on for second place here. Let's have a quick pause. Because Osterstrom probably aren't going to lose too much. The Savage Men aren't going to stop accumulating score. Big old Londoner in this as well, and a big old naval battle. Helga Boland versus Charles Lancaster. They're both explorers. Why are we exploring in the 19th century? Oh god, even their navy's getting trashed by London's. Yeah, if I could do anything at all, Epiphany on Switzerland. Switzerland brings in everyone. God, what wouldn't I give for Epiphany to go in on Switzerland? you know it's bad. Allied with Lurtzland and nobody else. It's got a bit wrong. Things could be going better. Oh, hello. Tequila against Yoya. Vikingar forced into just Iceland by Scotland. It all looks quite serene when you're out this far. Ah, shame. They're going to have to correct you there. Osterstrom didn't backstab their way to the top. They backstabbed their way to second place. The Warsaw's fallen and it's not gonna be taken back. So what do the Savage Men want? Now that they can pick and choose land from their ally. Oh no. Question, what do the Savage Men want? And what we're complaining about starting positions, by the way, that's what Epiphany started with. Yeah, just while we're here. Whereas, you know, this is what Osterstrom had to start with. So, you know, let's not. Of course it's garbage land. It's Osterstrom's land. This is something of a foregone conclusion for the war, but Osterstrom especially can keep throwing men at the problem. Legendian Separatists, 54,000. They've already taken over Napoli. They're going for Roma now. So this could lead to the collapse of Eric Lux as well, who are on the losing side of this war. In the middle of all this, Neroland's about to die in their final form. Neroland have... Oh, right in front of our very eyes. Neroland are dead as hell. Alright, I'm back. Oh, there's Eric Lux beating down London. Who knows why? Yeah, I just keep checking Epiphany's situation. Far more in hope than expectation. They've lost the Epiphany dynasty. Right at the end. They've changed to the Defois. How shameful. Says Gabriel and Gunther Savage Man. Alaric Denny's still going strong. Who still has this stuff? Well, the Savage Man, obviously. Is Arstock still on it? No air Arstocks will come to the throne before the end of the game. How promising. And these guys are all Republics. Well, they should be Republics by now, but Samudali Kappa still in there. God, all this time, just a few Garavi separatists. Come on now. We've got a Kamichi on the throne of the Amaranth Republic, which is impressive. Big ol' battle, all for naught. You know what? At least if Norderschreich take the coast, it will look a bit neater. In fact, if they take the coast up to here, they take Warsaw as well, Lublin, Tarnow, or Tarnov, then that's a lovely little curve they've got going there. I obviously give all this to the Savage Men. Are Lurtzland in yet? No. Oh well. Does Lurtzland have a suspicious amount of, 1 and 2k troops as if they're rebuilding an army? They're still paying free as Scotland, trying to get them free. Eric Lux doing what they should be doing in defending their own land. They're not going to make a drip of difference in this war. What they need to do is get out of it as soon as possible. Or did they just get out of it? You know what? Oh no, everyone got out of it. They've broken up the Norse block for 1, 2, 3, 4 ugly provinces. See, the greed. The utter greed. Look at this. The Triple Alliance stands tall. How many centuries has the Triple Alliance just been constantly there? And if we could get Eric Lux just to drop the PRD now. Mwah, beautiful. Although this does open up Osterstrond to some new alliances. The truce won't last until the end of the game. Clearly, Eric Lux needs to join this new Norse bloc. The Triple Alliance broke apart before? Never. My beautiful Catholic boys, we're together from the very start and they'll be together till the very end. How have Amaranth got some occupations here? What on earth is this? Amaranthine Pacifican Nationalist War. After all this, if it's Amaranth that kills off the MPO, then allow me to take a bow as Sadir Kamichi Jumbi shows you all how it should have been done centuries ago. What do they actually want? Well, when they take only this province, I'm going to be so disappointed. At least take Ayutthaya. Ayutthaya is an amazing province. 23 development farmland, centre of trade, ivory. Then Galistani revolutionaries there, still. if we get to 1821 and Samudali Kappa is still undergoing this revolution, oh, thank God. Thank God for tequila. Thank God somebody's doing it. Oh. Not content with throwing their oldest ally under the bus, the Savage Men are immediately at war again. That's actually ludicrous. Also, Strode desperately trying to appeal to Nordisreich. Well, I know you've like killed us off here, but have you considered not killing us off? This Emperor Gavil Savage Man. Surely they should be allying up the Savage Men against Nordisreich. Also, Strode, this isn't going to go well. It's a bad idea. I appreciate that Gavril is a militarist, but this is a proper bad idea. Walter needs to go in on Gezira during this, I think. Because why would they not? Right, Patria are losing to Angola simply because their armies aren't down there yet. Legendia are losing to Saklava because it's an imperialist war and their capital's on this island. Which is pathetic. The Keeler are going to reach the Red Sea. Tokmaria and Gezira are not allied. Tokmaria let them die when the Savage Men came for them the first time. To which I say, you know what? That's fair enough. Nordisreich seem to... I think they're just putting Schwarzwald out of their misery now. Again, they don't want that much, but I bet it's Switzerland. Oh, Switzerland are more concerned with Epiphany. But what is left for the Savage Men to actually take? I mean, apart from everything, what will they actually benefit from here? Oh no, to be fair, Alexandria is actually a really great province for them to take. And one they should have taken ages ago, because the Alexandria trade node funnels directly into their Constantinople home node. They should have taken this ages ago. What provinces does Tokmaria want? At a guess, Noer Geladi probably doesn't want that much. I'd guess he'll maybe want a little bit of this land down here. He cares about Legendia, because they're rivals. But broadly, colonists don't really care for taking much land at home. Is that a transport fleet there? Oh no, it's Legendia war fleet. And they have made their way across. Good. In the end, if ever locks come for Legendia again and Patria come for East Africa, they can at least flee to Madagascar. We just look up and there's like 200,000 Savage Men trampling down the Denial Valley. Speaking of which, yep, this is what I feared. Tokmaria are annexing the Nile Valley and they are gone. The Nile Valley is out of there once again. The Legendia, again, very much at risk once that 1812 truce comes. So this is all land that originally did belong to London. So this is a kind of interesting, three-way war in that Switzerland will get a bit, Nordisreich will get most of it. 200% they could... Is it a nationalist war? So 200% means that without any modifiers, it would take 2 wars exactly to take all of Schwarzwald's territory. But this is the late game where we have loads and loads of modifiers. Absolutism, the nationalism casus belli. So they could probably just finish off Schwarzwald in a single war. I'm kind of surprised we've not seen any breakaways from Free Scotland. But I am actually now really curious as to what the Oh god, imagine Gezira have only just managed to fill this bit in. Imagine if by the end of the game it just says the Savage Men from down here to up there. It's what I'm hoping for. I don't think Gezira will have that much good land left. 532? They could lose a massive chunk of this if the Savage Men want it. And despite it being trash land, I say trash land, I mean back here it was very much undeveloped land. They could just take it all. Osterstrand still don't have any alliances back. Whereas the Savage Men doesn't really matter. They're allied to Korea, they're allied to Germany, they're allied to Switzerland. And Giraud de Foix just sits back. Says, I am not bothered. I have many score. I like there's more peasants there now on that island. Oh, interesting point before they completely die. Did the aspiration for liberty succeed? No, it didn't. Schwarzwald still a duchy, even in death. Oh, they've got minus 59% war score. No, not completely dead. They just didn't give anything to Switzerland. Which I say, fair dues. That'll be moving Nordisreich. Nope, still up there. I don't really want to miss what the Savage Men take from Gezira, because look at the actually preposterous number of troops down here. Well, I'll be. Just nobody ever bothered taking Bermuda. This is actually perfect. Because if you remember the story of Caboose, the lore behind Caboose, the actual trash lore I wrote about Caboose, is that their king was so-and-so Labubu, forced out of Romania by the Savage Men. Forced into like a little village around here in Turkey, which he built up Caboose, meaning revenge in Turkish. And like, no, it meant nightmare in Turkish. Because he was forced to become, forced to rule over Muslim Turkey. When he's an incredible racist. Genuine, like, actual lore. And now, that's his last province in Mecca. It all comes around full circle. It all comes around. Oh, Swiss Succession War? Sorry. So what's happened here is... right, as professional. Is that the Swiss Duke has died. The Swiss Duke has died without leaving a ruler. And therefore, the Duke of Utrecht is now the ruler of Switzerland. And what's happened here is Switzerland have lost all their alliances because they're now a client state of Utrecht. But Epiphany have thought to themselves, you know what? I fancy being the ruler of Switzerland. And they're contesting this. And I am so happy. Words can barely describe how happy I am. Oh god! And then Eric Lux are in this as well. With 11 years left. Just spectacular. I went into this session somewhat concerned that it wouldn't deliver. Because I think Epiphany were always going to run away with it score-wise. But oh, it's delivered. This is excellent. Joy upon joys. Look at this. Look at the red wave wash over Switzerland. Now, to be fair, I bet, obviously what we'd all love is that Eric Lux, I say we all, what I and Solas would love, what two of us would love, Eric Lux getting their Italian lands back from Switzerland. But I think what I would love a bit more, and what Solas certainly wouldn't, is I think what I would love is that Eric Lux take over all this and Epiphany give them nothing. Because it all comes around full circle. Oh no. Right, so Patria have attacked these guys. And for some reason, that's put in Malta and Free Scotland, because why are they allied? What is the point in this? The Free Scotland, still at war with Nederland. Oh no, I remember now. Ah yes, Nederland, King Fernando de Nero in the Falklands and South Georgia. This is literally the Falklands War. Wait, I own Canada? You don't own Canada, you own California. There's a difference. Oh, California now fully Scottish as well. Because I can quickly show you this. That's all colonial California. And then as you can see, that isn't actually a real province, it's just wasteland. But for now, let's just sit back. Let's just sit back and enjoy Switzerland finally getting what was coming to them. Why does my right click not work anymore? Now, to be fair, Epiphany might not actually take this land. Because if Epiphany win this war, they should be able to get Switzerland as their own, as a union under the ruler of Epiphany. Which is actually really interesting because Switzerland became very much a powerful nation, allied to Nordish Reich, allied to the Savage Men, and they became a heavy hitter in wars. And it's a shame there's 10 years left in the campaign, because that really shifts the balance. Because get rid of Switzerland. I can't believe the Savage Men haven't taken out Gazira yet either. What are they doing? I mean, dealing with the massive Perm separatism, yeah. So Neo Sadai going on in Kazil Bronco again. But again, the Koreans need to make it all the way to Samarkand, and they're not going to do it. It's going to be a white piece. I mean, not to spoil it for you, but let's... There are Scots in London. Scots sieging down London. Never thought I'd see the day. Scots sieging down London, and London doesn't even belong to London. Too little, too late. Osterstrone just built a bunch of armies. I saw that. But they need to do a bunch of rebuilding. Why Gazeran separatists? And why are the Savage Men not actually declaring peace here? Gazera I suppose that looks alright, but I was hoping for like all of you. I was genuinely hoping for like down to here, all the Savage Men. So Malta dragged into this war, going down to Patria. Patria, I think, they had that war with Angola and they didn't win it. Osterstrode once again allied with a Nordisreich. Still allied with Lurtzland. Not with the Savage Men. I don't mean to get anyone's hopes up, but Milan has fallen. What's the war goal for this war? There isn't a war goal at all, I think. It's fine, because the Utrecht capital, Utrecht will technically be the war leader, as we'll see when we look at Epiphany. That's Utrecht's flag. And that's been occupied for quite some time. Technically losing to Macaronesia because nobody's actually taken this island. Which is really pathetic when you think about it. In the meantime, of course, Free Scotland are involved in this, which means it's a colonial war. Another schism in Catholicism. You know what? We won't check if that's an actual revolution. We'll just have a quick look. And if it's suddenly revolutionary legendia, then we'll smile and nod. Oh yeah. What we always wanted. What's the time? We're actually getting quite... I was worried that by starting at 7 I'd finish, like, far too early. But we're doing alright for ourselves. Incidentally, I was planning on once we get to 1821, I'll go through any stats, go through a load of the timelines. I've got all the save games from every 25 years and up, so I can look up absolutely anything you guys want. But most of all, what I want to do is discuss what we're going to do for Season 2. And there will be a Season 2. So, you know, stay tuned, as it were. I don't know, if the yellow goes in the middle, and green at the bottom, blue at the top, that'd be a decent tricolour. But you can see, even with the weight of Epiphany and Eric Lux's cannons, just how difficult it is to actually siege through all this. I mean, you can see Switzerland fighting back. It'll be a while before they take Milan back, unless they really blitz it. In fact, where... Yeah, Epiphany are kind of withdrawing. I think they're getting worried by this Scottish war. They absolutely shouldn't be. They just need Patria to take that island and it's all fine. So what are they? Are they trying to knock Malta out first? Because I can kind of understand where they're coming from, but this is overkill for Malta's mainland possessions. It's disgusting. The day we look over at Gezira, see it filled with separatists, and it's not Denal Valley separatists. No, filled with rebels, but it's Gezira in particular, and not you know what I mean. You can say this is why nobody invaded Switzerland in real life, but Switzerland is far larger than it was in real life. And the land they're taking up here is all grasslands and forest. It's not the mountains. It's not the Alps. But that's the thing, if they're struggling with the grasslands, then geez oh. How did Malta get into this? This was a war. They didn't get into the Switzerland war. Patria declared a war on Macaronesia, and Macaronesia were allied to Patria and Free Scotland. So that's that war. As you can see, they're not allied in a war with Switzerland and Utrecht, whereas the Switzerland and Utrecht one is its own separate war. So Epiphany is probably prioritising Malta to get them out of here, because Free Scotland have taken London, and they see that as a bigger threat than Switzerland. Although, to be fair, they do have that 100,000 army now, strolling past Milan, hunting down. Yeah, they've got their armies back now. To be honest, it's in Epiphany's interest not to completely crush the Swiss armies. Because if they're going to get them in a union under this, they don't want them to have to rebuild all their armies. Patria with a huge fleet, but can't beat the 7,000 strong army on the island. Here's the thing, Östersund have that alliance back with Nordischreich, but they are still protecting the PRD. That truce is now up, and Nordischreich still want everything. Oh, that'd be interesting. If they go for the Swiss early on. Of course, the Swiss now not allied to any of the Norse bloc. They don't have any actual special relations, any bonuses with them, because if we look at the religious map, let's remind ourselves, Switzerland are Protestant. It's just that the Catholics all banded together and the Protestants went on the north side. That's what kind of banded them together, but once that bond is broken, there's nothing to actually get them back together. David, savage man. Oh no. That's fine. I saw same dynasty there, and I saw Östersund were lost. But no, it's just a regent for Alexei, savage man. Easily the most successful dynasty in this game, in this whole campaign. Second place would probably be the Dennies. Because you had... Oh no, Schwarzwald. Schwarzwald are a merchant republic. How has this happened? Who allowed them to become a merchant republic? Well, the Dennies are no more, because you had Rolf and Alaric Denny, and you had the Dennies spreading into Lutzland, who are now a constitutional republic. Gairav, what happened here is that this is a war for the Swiss personal union. Because the Swiss ruler died without an heir, they became a union under the Duke of Utrecht, and Epiphany said, you know what? Nah, that's not a great idea. So if Epiphany win this war, and they choose to take that peace term, pretender rebels there, the Switzerland are now in a personal union with Epiphany. So close. Eric Lux have been given 25 development by Epiphany. And Epiphany have a slightly nicer looking boredom. As you can see, Switzerland just immediately brought into this war as well. That Epiphany even less assailable than they were in the first place. This is an Epiphany transport fleet, actually. They're all going to go down. Is there anyone who can please us with a last-minute war? Tequila going back in on Kashan and Kumiz, bringing Tok Maria with them. Anyone want to finish off Caboose while we're here? It's all particulars down here in Legendia. That's fine. If it's separatists, it'd be a problem, but they aren't. I'd like if Patria could just finish off that last little bit of wackadoo, but you can't always get what you want. How's America looking? Because America, lest we forget, still at total war. And now that Epiphany have finished off their conflict with Switzerland, we could be seeing them come across. At the moment, it's just Free Scotland's colonies running wild on Canada. Let's see, California just sits back. You know what? We want no part of this. Legendia, sticking around in Brazil. This is fine. Ireland lives on. What is that yellow spot there? Did Lutz always have Jamaica? Or is that even Jamaica? That's Jamaica. Which one's this? Is this... I knew they were shaped similarly on either side of Hispaniola. Because I probably should recognise that name. Embarrassing. I used to be... I'm not good at geography, but I used to know where everything was. I could name the capital and everything. Puerto Rico, thank you. It'd be embarrassing for an American not to get that. As it is, I'm fine. Revolutionary ninjas. Kazil revolutionaries. Tequila actually making progress this time. And you can kind of see that's because they have this free space now to kind of join up with each other. And Tok Maria's armies coming in really help out. That it's not Let's in Colombia. It is spelt with a U. It is the same state as the one up here. Who knows why? So this war just rolls on and on and on, while Patria refuse to set foot on Madeira. Malta remain fully occupied apart from that actual important province. The Savage Men have 70,000 troops in Cairo. Gezira beating back their revolutionaries. Or their rebels, as it were. And with fewer than 5 years to go, 4 years and a few months, I'm not sure we're going to see any other major wars. In fact, let's make sure we're not missing anything as we speak. Legendia have gone back in to Angola. As well they might. Things are actually starting to really slow down in this game for me. There's probably a good thing we're getting to the end. There's too many AI routines going wild. Oh, you can especially see when I'm moving about and zooming out. Thank goodness we're very near the end. It's been running smoothly apart from this. I'm right here. So while we're reduced to pretty much a slideshow, is there any map modes anyone wants to see? Or anything we can look up so we're not looking at, you know, 1 frame per second? Just riding this out. Epiphany, the greatest of powers, but I expect nowhere near the Savage Ben's development. Total armor losses we'll have a quick look at, but look at the difference in development. Yeah, Epiphany still managed to be the #1 great power just for how much, just how big their subjects are. The army losses, Tequila, up there by miles and miles. Nordistrike have suspiciously low attrition compared to everyone around them. I suppose their losses. Nordistrike didn't really do much fighting. Is the HRE still around? It is. We've not looked at it at all because Gero Epiphanes, or rather not Epiphanes, Defoy, is the hereditary emperor. We've not really missed out on much for not looking at it. Is this war over? And that's why it's... Yeah, this war's over. So you can kind of see the effect of a huge war like that. That's what was slowing it right down. Look, that's... Or is it all it took? No, they've sent an army over, and they still didn't take it. What was the point? I can understand the AI not being able to cross over to that province, and therefore not like having to declare a white peace. But if you've actually made your way across that province and you still white peace, then what is the point? Oh, the Savage Men are in a Regency Council. They're not going to be able to declare war again before the end of the game. Because look at that. Regency ends 1828. Keela doing well for themselves, finally. Will we see some better borders just before the end? Amaranth did take those 2 provinces back from the New Pacific Order. They should have taken more, should have killed them off. New Pacific Order with no allies. And 1 tributary. Now, Tequila was one of the first victims of Aspiration for Liberty. And they fought it for so long. That's why their casualties are so high. Because it was just an endless civil war to instill a republic. I mean, let's check back in with Samud Ali Kappa. Yep, still revolting. Yep, still peasant rebellions over here. Neroland noble rebels in Nauru. Who's the war target here for Tequila? is Kashan, unfortunately. So they won't be taking much from Kumis, I imagine. Well, they could actually. You know what? If they took all that, the borders would look quite a bit nicer. Will they manage it in the next 2.5 years? We'll find out soon. London revolutionaries? London calling? I assume it's just aspiration for liberty. Still an Ambrosian republic, not a constitutional one. Yeah, I don't foresee very many wars happening in this last 3 years. Legendia, why? Don't lose to Angola as your last act. This will be what anyone remembers. Oh, Georgia going for it. Bringing in only Kazil Bronco. Georgia going for it and immediately getting pushed back. Well, we may never know if London was truly going to become the vanguard of the revolution. Well, the revolution was crushed by a man called Paul Butler and his far too many cavalry. What the hell? There's wave after wave of the Golden Surge. Into the land of the Two Rivers. Formerly the land of the Downriver people. Arkansas was here once. Arkansas, long dead. Well, not long dead. They died in this session, for goodness sake. They're long dead to me. Yunlin surviving. Ninja Kurutsu surviving. Neroland just about holding on somewhere. I zoomed in, saw a Scotland flag and just went, no! But they won't have taken the Falklands, will they? Will they? Nah, the Falklands stand tall, stand strong. Occupied by Neroland. We're coming through this. We still haven't seen a free Scotland, like, a proper colonial rebellions. Which is both a surprise and, honestly, a disappointment. Oh, for goodness sake. The Savage Men are back in. Maybe this time they'll reach Samarkand, but I'm not betting on it. Certainly not by 1821. I forgot some of this album had vocals on it. This isn't what I want. This isn't exactly the mood music I wanted for EU4, but it works. It's the last great battle of our time in Bayuli, as the Savage Men strike down Kazilbronxo, who still have built essentially no forts. What if we looked at the score just at the end now, and it was like massively turned around? Like, we look and it's like the Savage Men are at top. Oh, war against Legendia? How's this happened? Is Patria... Oh, Legendia. Fallen at the last hurdle. Legendia allied Nunu. Patria declared war on Nunu. And Legendia... They should last until... They've only got to last a year. Just don't get pieced out within a year. Oh, Georgia, again, they just have to last 11 months. Go on, Tequila. Peace out, Kumis. That says it all, though. Even at this stage, Everlock still don't want Salento. Now we see huge Swiss stacks on the side of the Catholics, heading down to Africa. To be fair, with the Legendian army down in Africa, this will actually be a bigger fight for them. Or rather, it would be. But we are 6 months away from the end of a campaign spanning hundreds of years, many centuries, many hours of real modern time. We're about to crown our winner. Oh, imagine if they do get knocked out, like right on the 1st of January. The game technically concludes, I think, on the 3rd of January. Now, I've tested this, and in observer mode, you could actually continue this on. I have to say, I won't be doing that. But we could technically continue this specific campaign forever. It would just stop advancing. As it were, there's no more tech levels beyond tech level 32. Which Nordischreich, which everyone is either at or getting to. The Savage Men have conquered so much that they've only just gotten up to tech level 5. Kumi's revolutionaries, it's far too late. It's always very abrupt, the end screen for a campaign. You just hit the end date and it forces you out the game. Fortunately, we're in observer mode, so it's not going to do that to us. It's like... There's the last autosave, and there we go. See, this is what it taps you out to. So we could just hit continue and carry on. But that's not for us. On this day, the 3rd of January, 1821, this campaign shall draw to a close. And we can announce the winner on score. To nobody's shock. Actually, everyone did start really gaining on Epiphany at the end there, didn't they? So your top 5: Epiphany, Osterstrode, Savage Men, Tequila, Patria. All reasonably comfortable. I think if Tequila hadn't fought their revolution for so long, they'd have probably come in 3rd place. Is that Eric Lux just defending the top 10 from Sunday Sedai? I certainly hope so. So yeah, if we want to look at development though, like the real measure of victory. The Savage Men have 2,377. Epiphany have 1,687. I don't know why I said it like that. Although we'll look at armies now, with Epiphany having finally gotten quantity. And they can field a bigger army than the Savage Men. There you have it. So the world has looked better. It's looked worse. But what we can do as well is we hit this button. You know, honestly, let's zoom into Europe right now, right? It looks so much better like this. Like, ignore how ugly Switzerland looked. Look at these wonderful borders. But Kashan grew from that. Well, to be fair, Malta grew from that. From the good old days where we had Colombia and Patria, they were allies. And Patria weren't just subjugating everyone. Remember the Nile Valley? Remember Gorovdesh? Here's the thing. People have said, oh, Epiphany was in too strong a position and their ideas were too powerful and stuff. Epiphany and Gorovdesh were in pretty much the same position. They both have very similar idea sets. They're all like quantity and quality of military. Specifically military nations. Gorovdesh like eliminated session 1, Epiphany win. So anyway, what's the so this wasn't so much a competition for see who makes the best nation and whose country gets the most score. It was more of a prediction competition. So there was actually, I've got a spreadsheet here with predictions. I don't know where it is. And so the winner of this prediction competition, I think, I can't remember what I said about it, but they win either a copy of EU4 or some kind of DLC if they want it. So the two people to predict Epiphany to finish with the highest score, you have Revolutionary Rebel and you have Gairav. You've got a tie-break there, and then we've got tiebreaker questions. Which country will be eliminated first? Neither of them got that. When will Infinite Citadel be eliminated? I've got that written down somewhere. And what will be the dominant religion? What is the dominant religion before we look at this? Which is defined by... Right, let's write down Catholic, Norse, Hindu... That's Confucian, actually. And it's not spelt Confuction. Right, so Catholics, we've got 1, 2, 3. For Norse, we have 1, 2, 3. So we don't even have an answer on this. Although what we do have is that Revolutionary Rebel said that Hinduism would be dominant, Gairav said Norse would be dominant. So if we're looking at this prediction competition, then Gairav is the winner of that. Everyone a round of applause. Right, now we'll cut back out to here, to the timeline. The Gairav, I will legit buy you a copy of the EU4 if you don't have it. Or I'll buy you like some cheap DLC. I'm not made of money. If I was made of money, I'd have a far better streaming setup than this. I'd have a green screen. I'd have a green screen, right? And then look at this. You wouldn't be able to see all this shit behind me. Alright, let's zoom into Europe. Let's have multiple. And then let's go on fast. The complete collapse of Equestria. Oh, remember Equestria? I don't. I think Caboose narratively would probably the best country. Just for the lore reasons I explained earlier. And for the fact that they were easily had the most development of any country. But it was such a catastrophic fall that it was so entertaining and impressive to see. Had an epiphany crushing their neighbours, and that just got the snowball rolling. But it was more than that. It was that they were really the first to get in the colonial game as well. That's what really did it for them. It was good ideas at the right times. Like Osterstrom's ideas were like utter trash. I am surprised at how poorly Grunhammer did. Because obviously they are somewhat surrounded by the Norse at all times. But I thought their diplomatic reputation would be quite powerful from the start. Well, and you saw earlier on that it kind of was, in that they had a lot of allies from different spheres. Like, and across religions. But that turned out to be incredibly weak, at least in this campaign, as you had two major groups of each religion with no real trailing alliances. Obviously that very much imploded at the end, as all things do. Is that us? I think that is us. Go on, remember Gorovdesh. Remember Amaranth. Right. What do I want to... I want to say a few things about Season 2 before everyone gives up and leaves the stream. So Season 2 will be coming soon. What I want to do for Season 2, let's see if I can actually get it up just now. And if I can get this out the way. What I want to do is like a full-on Google form for submitting nations. And obviously this is completely unfinished, and I'm gonna like really spruce it up a bit. But what I want to do is have everyone fill this out so I don't have to be hunting down like various different notepad files and Google Docs and trying to put stuff together. So I could just have a list of countries to all put together. Because in this case, in next campaign, everyone can have two nations. They're going to be split apart geographically. They're going to have different points totals depending on where they start. Because as we saw here, whenever European nations... Well, I mean, we can have a look at the back here. Tequila are up there because Tequila came to dominate India. But Samuda, for example, Bengalistan, they would not be able to tangle with any of the Europeans. Hoke Maria got crushed as soon as they cut him up against Caboose. stuff like that. So I'm going to give nations in Africa. Essentially, the farther away you are from Europe, the further away you are from institutions, the more points you'll get in the nation designer. So essentially, everyone who is active should end up getting a nation around this area, and then one anywhere else in the world. By the way, I'm looking for feedback on all this, so if anyone thinks, hey, that's rubbish, or has any better suggestions, then please do tell me. If nobody says anything, I'll assume it's a brilliant idea, and that's what we'll do. What else was I going to say? I've got notes somewhere. Yeah, there is actually a bunch of stuff I want to ask, but I'm not sure if this is the place for it. Allegedly 10 viewers, might as well. Can we pick nations in the New World? I'm inclined to say no. Because... let's have a look at this. You can see how empty the New World starts. And this is fuller than it usually is. So if you start, you know, a good-sized nation here, then they will utterly dominate, despite the lack of institutions. They will obliterate everything around them, and they should go on to win. And that they wouldn't go on to win is, you know, like, is the fault of the EU4 AI. They should be, like, any nation that starts here with like 400 points should be dominant. And I mean, that's exactly it. All these achievements you have in the base game of EU4, it's like, start with free development and whatever ideas you want, and conquer the whole thing. Make sure nobody else has provinces there. Or other various things. I think I'm mixing them up. I think I'm mixing up ideas guide with first come, first serve, if you know the EU4 achievements. So I don't want to put people in the New World, and that's why. Just a few other quick things. There's a bunch of stuff you can do with multiplayer options. If I was to start this game as a multiplayer game, I would be able to have on victory cards, for example. And how victory cards work. Will this actually help us at all? Right, you zoom in here, and every so often, if your country is big enough, you get a random victory card, which gives you more points, more score. It has nothing to do with anything but score. The AI doesn't know how to handle it, so it's like kind of an element of randomness. It's used in multiplayer. Can we do random New World? Yep, that's the next thing on my list. We can do random New World if that's what people want. What random New World is, if you're not familiar with EU4, is that it just takes all the Americas and makes them into something random. In fact, we could do that from right here. Right here, right now. So random New Worlds, yeah, it'd be something different. What I found is that the AI doesn't tend to handle the random New World as well as the random Old New World, as the non-random Old New World. But equally, that should, in theory, be equal for everyone. You come in here, this is the typical start. We go random New World. What a song this is in the background as well. And with random New World, sometimes you get kind of more fantasy land masses, sometimes you get more realistic land masses. But I, as the person in charge of the campaign, I can re-roll until I'm happy with it. And of course, I have the option that doesn't let us see it on. So, This is obviously a bit more of a fantasy one. So I'll be honest, I wouldn't go with this. But as you can see, what this would do for our campaign would be to really limit the colonizers in Europe to massive benefit for the West. Yeah, I hate the look of this one. I hate anything that goes off the top of the map. And obviously it's built as, you know, a fantasy map. Now, people have asked if we could do a random whole map, and the answer is probably technically yes. I think such a thing does exist, but very buggy, and the AI would break. I've seen the AI break just in normal games that I'm playing. So this one would indeed help Asian expansion. But we're already looking to compensate for that by giving Asian custom countries more points. Obviously, it would be just complete guesswork. Because bear in mind that every single country in our last campaign started with, I think it was 550 points. So that is 550 nation designer points. And I'll quickly show you what that actually looks like as well. Yep, mods are the next thing I've got. I don't think I'm going to put in mods just now. I'm looking at doing potentially future campaigns. What I am looking at for this next campaign is graphical mods. Is anything that would make it look a bit nicer. So if anyone has any suggestions for graphical mods, because there are... The one thing there is plenty of in EU4 are graphical mods that just change the way that things look, make borders maybe a bit more distinct, stuff like that. So we're running through this whole process again. You can get a lot of random new world, what's called tile mods, because what these are, they are just kind of pre-generated tiles that are slotted together. Incidentally, what I didn't mention as well is that obviously the trade nodes are all very different. Some of these trade nodes might filter towards Asia and might not filter towards Europe. You can kind of see there's like a bit of wackiness going on with the sea tiles as well. But yeah, what you can also do is you can go to custom setup. No, you can't. You can go to the bottom of here and fantasy new worlds. I always have it set to frequent. There's always a chance of, if I've started off as one of these guys, there's always a chance of a big massive obsidian or burning empire country across here. Right, how are we doing? I'm thinking, on the whole, I'm thinking no to victory cards. If everyone likes the idea, I'll say yes to random new world. The one mod I'm thinking of, and I'd have to make it myself, is ruler personalities. They're currently, I think they are currently completely random, or maybe influenced a little by the ruler stats. Like if a ruler has better military, then they're more likely to be a militarist, stuff like that. What I'm thinking of is potentially a mod to... I don't think I'm going to do this for the next time actually, but I thought of it, so I'll mention it. I've started, so I will finish. Make a higher chance of being a militarist, because that was kind of the interesting thing. It was especially when the Savage Men got a militarist, and I said, hey, these guys are going to go ham, and then they went ham. But I think the reason that I found that cool was because nobody else had really done it before. So I'm looking into that as an option. I don't think I'm going to do it for the next campaign. Right, so one last thing I want to ask about just now while you're all still here. I think obviously the live stream itself is probably the most popular thing to do with the campaign. And obviously the live stream is going to be the thing that stays. Ostensibly Sunday 9 o'clock UK time to 11 o'clock. I think some people do watch the VOD. I want to know how many people really use the write-ups to keep up with stuff. It's like, I know there's a number of people who look at the write-up, but that was easily the most draining thing. Like, doing this, doing the stream, even doing it, like, on a rotation, like clockwork at 9 o'clock every Sunday, that's easy. That's incredibly easy. It was the write-up that was consuming so much of my time early on. You can probably really tell that I just completely lost interest in doing the write-ups at all. But if that's the main way that a lot of people are keeping up with the campaign, what I'm thinking of for the write-ups next time is keeping the screenshots, because obviously the screenshots are easy. But I think instead of doing an individual write-up for every country, just doing a quick write-up of events I remember. It's like, I'm looking at doing a write-up for, of course, right, we have to come all the way back out to load this back up. Oh yeah, I'll mention just now, the main problem I'd have with Random New World is because we'd be in spectator mode, it's impossible to actually... I'd love it if we could have it as a surprise. But we can't. See, the problem with doing a write-up of stuff I didn't catch in the stream is that if I don't catch it during the stream, I'm never going to catch it at all. Pretty much. If someone points out something to me, I can go back and look at stuff. But it's not just the writing itself, it was the going back and looking at stuff, getting specific dates for stuff. But yeah, I think a more involved recap at the start of each stream. Like, what I'd do if this was like really popular, like hundreds of thousands of views, is that you do a video each time. You know that video we had of the start? You do that each time with a little bit. That's the dream for when I become a professional EU4 streamer, obviously. Yep, of course we can. Incidentally, this is the Age of Revolutions, where you get a bonus for having a large capital with at least 50 development. I think maybe Osterstrand might have gotten there in the end, but I don't think anyone else did. Osterstrand didn't even get there. I think if Com is the capital of Kashan, then yeah, they got close. But apart from that, Malta in second or third place. Yeah, what happened a lot with the Yunlin versus Sun Yeo and Gioia saga is that obviously we'd miss things on the stream, but I would go back, but it's like very minuscule. Like if I wanted to find out like what the last war Yunlin were in was, well, Yunlin's probably a bad example now, but you'd go into history here and you can see this isn't really useful for what I'm looking for. So I'd go back to this, and it doesn't mention the start date, it doesn't really mention what was lost and what was gained and when, just that in the reign of this guy who lasted 8 years. Did they get revolutions? Yeah, Constitutional Republic. Regency Council, so let's not do that. Is there anyone... The Savage Men. Oh, the Savage Men, actually. They're not doing too well for themselves. They're just completely strained. Ludicrous absolutism. But what I was looking at is, can I make someone go revolutionary? And what would that be like? Even now, Nordischreich, disappointing. You got kill stability. How do we kill stability? Is there anyone safe you've got a truce with? Holland, Frisia. Right, so that's dropped stability down. I said we could... Oh, of course it's an AI game. I forgot I tried this before. So we'll leave that. What we'll do... No. I've got a plan. I've got a plan. Right, now I'm properly Epiphany. Alright, we need another truce break. Epiphany are too good. We've got diplomatic ideas or something. Yep. Macronesia. Of course, we have to wait a month. Come on. In fact, we're not spectating this now. Why are Epiphany raiding treasure fleets? For goodness sake. I'm just winning all these naval battles just by sitting here doing nothing. Not quite. Right, so this... Right, so Aspiration for Liberty is going to go first. So what we do, I think we take a load of loans. How many loans was that? Who knows? Not like it matters. They're never going to run out of money. Loans at least 25. At this rate, revolution will start slightly before. Now we just have to sit through this. And then we'll have revolutionary epiphany. Well, no we won't. Then the revolution disaster will start. I've never done this before. You can probably tell. Right, where are our armies? Oh, we still at War of Legendia. So we're just gonna chill here until 1st of August. What's the absolutism like? Cool. Oh, but can we... War exhaustion at least 5 is for both of them. Okay, that's fine. Oh no, not the Orinoco Delta. God, isn't this exciting? This is the exciting content we've all come to see. Essentially, for Season 2, of course, yeah. I forgot about that. We can't be paying for forts at this time. Is there anyone who would like to sign an alliance with Epiphany? Not because we're at war. But usually the PRD would, because they're Bronco. We're that close to getting an alliance with Tequila and Epiphany. That'd be one hell of a counterweight to the Savage event. You know what, sure, I don't actually want to be at war with you. God, even Schwarzwald are insulting us. This is how bad it's gone. Right, so, as a summary. Why have they got conquistadors? Well, appropriately enough, they were already sieging down London when I tried to disband all forts. Which means that London's fort is still up. And they still have to siege it down. But anyway, my final point on Season 2 is that it'll all be on this Google form. And now it might be a bit more involved to fill out, but I'm not going to force anyone to like put in a big bunch of responses or anything. It will just be easy as you like. You'll just pick like from a drop down box and there'll be plenty of boxes you can put stuff in. Why are they changing the culture of Barcelona, for goodness sake? A horse population boom. Lovely. But essentially, it's all going to be done through this one Google form. We've got to be nearly there by now. They've taken London, we will take the world. I've got to be finished by the end of this song because this is the best song to end on. Revolution and Epiphany. Decades of feudal oppression, religious intolerance, and unjust taxation. Honestly, I thought Epiphany were like kind of like the bastion of tolerance for humanism, stuff like that. Giraud has desperately been seeking resolutions to the ever-increasing problems. There's free stability. Oh god, Epiphany were a terrible choice. Because everyone's just going to come in and... like, the Swiss are going to kill off all the revolutionaries. This is all pointless. Can I speed this up? What do I want to do here in terms of getting a revolutionary government? I assume I want to reduce the royal bureaucracy, but EU4 is a bit arcane like this. Nice. Is there anything I can do to increase revolt risk? The savage men have slandered us, how dare they? Yeah, the rest of the stream is just gonna be me. Oh, they hardly pose a threat. Fuck off, Switzerland. Hold on. I've got a plan. Keep the masses in chains. You can give in to some rebels, but can I give in to these guys? Nah, they never negotiate. Revolution EU4. Oh, here we go. This is more like it. Oh, and they've actually risen up in Paris as well. When was the last time Paris fell? Oh, it's all coming thick and fast now. Eric Lux, please don't. Don't make me declare war on you. I'm gonna dissolve this alliance. Right, I'm no longer allied in a war with Eric Lux. So they should stop killing rebels. This is what I want it to be done by now, because of this solo, we'll just leave it on there. Right, Paris has fallen. The revolution is here. The growing revolutionary activity in our country has caused the collapse of the regime. The revolutionary masses stormed a major prison in our capital, and this sent shockwaves throughout the government. The offer to form a new, slightly more constitutional monarchy was initially accepted, then our old corrupt monarch just couldn't quite resist the urge to bring the good old days back. We were left with no choice but to limit the old king's ability to influence the government by removing his head. Military candidate, obviously. We've lost imperialism, unfortunately. And colonialism. But now we spread the revolution. You were talking about an ugly tricolour. This is an ugly tricolour. It's so ugly it's not even got all the colours. But that's actually going to be Switzerland. They're going to not actually stay part of that union because we've not got a union anymore. So we could declare war on like anyone to spread the revolution. And that's an amazing casus belli. Repay all loans. Easy done. It's like nothing even happened. And you get various factions that I'm not going to bother with. I've played as a Merchant Republic. So here's the thing about revolutionary governments as well. They are amazing at everything. If we look at force limit now, it was very close. And now it is nowhere near close. Revolutionary Epiphany are on their own. But right. I think, unless there's any more we want to look at stat-wise, I'm going to call it there. Because I think it would only be severe disappointment for setting up an East versus West war. I don't think it would work the way we want it to work. One last question, actually. What I'm going to do... What I said I was going to do for the last kind of political maps, as it were. Once this loads, come on. Is I'm going to make it all look a bit better. So, at this point, I'm going to take the actual political map, and then, for example, I'd probably give, like, all these provinces to Osterstrand, and then I'd take some provinces down here, give them to the Savage Men, just so Osterstrand fill in, like, that wasteland. Like, probably give some of these to the Savage Men or Casil Bronco, just so we fill in this wasteland. Stuff like this. That all the wastelands get filled in, that all looks good. Does anyone have any objections, or... would that, you know, screw with the purity of the map? How would you even do that? I know you'd go to debug mode. So you would give province 2932 to Malta. But I don't know the console commands. I know you can probably go help. Province... I don't know. But I would go about going, give that to Malta, give that to Osterstrand, stuff like that. I probably shan't be giving the rest of Gazira to Malta. I'd give this to Malta to make that all show up as Molten. I'd give that to Malta. But in any case... we have actually gone through... I started 2 hours early. And we're down to our last half hour. Timed particularly well. To perfection, I might say. So what we're going to do... whoops. We're going to give it one last scroll around. And then I'm going to be signing off from the Amaranthine Invitational. Season 2 coming soon. If you want to be kept informed about Season 2, send me a message on Discord. And then I'll add you to an EU4 group on Discord. So that I'm not spamming everyone with news. But I'll be able to spam whoever wants to opt in to spam about the news. And I say spam, like maybe once a week. Like, before the stream goes live. And when I say message on Discord, make it a private message. See, I said that because I saw Tribute typing, and I knew he was going to do something stupid and inane. So I quickly went in and said, you know what, no. Send me a private message on Discord so I know to add you to an EU4 group. And I'll keep you all up to date. So then, if I could find my OBS, hit the chat disappear. And say thank you very much for watching. And I will see you in a few weeks. I'll see you next time.